Let's get into it. Oh, let's get into it. Yeah. Let's get into it. What's up? What's up, everybody? What's up? I know people probably at lunch. Like, I had to stop and get me something to eat. I'm on the go. I'm on the move. But we are here. We are here. So welcome everybody to this live, my first live. I made an announcement yesterday that I was going to be, what's going on, cuz? I was going to be going live for the next 6 months, Monday through Friday on Facebook. And I was a little nervous, honestly, about going live on Facebook because I know for me, like, I grew up on Facebook, right? And so a lot of people know me as Titus Glenn, the worship leader, the songwriter, and this journey that I'm on has taken me in a different path. Not that I don't still love doing those things, but it just looks different. It looks different and still get calls to do it, right? But in all that, we are here now because we are creating a space for those that are deconstructing, those that are healing, those that are looking for more of God, right? More of, I love God, but what I was told, it ain't working for me. It is not working for me. And I want you to know that there is more. There is more to God. There's more to discover about yourself. And my prayer is this, in this container, that you will find that. Not by pressure, not by force, but on your own terms. One of the things that I was given when I went through my own divorce that I now really rock with is find yourself, be yourself, and then let everybody else do the same. So I said all that to say that's how we got here. This is a place of discovery of God, discovery of yourself. And if anything, I just want to start with prayer. And we're just going to talk today. I wanted to share my story for those that might watch this later. I want to share my story so that you know who you talking to and you know, all that jazz. Okay, so let's pray, and we're gonna just take a breath, and I just ask Holy Spirit, come have your perfect way. Nevertheless, not my will but your will be done, and we let it be so, and so it is. Ashe and amen. So for those that don't know me, again, I was born in Dallas, Texas. Born and raised in Dallas, Texas, still in Dallas, Texas. And all my life, why would I say all my life, I had to fight. Listen, I was born in Dallas, went to church all my life. I was the kid that loved church, loved the singing, loved the praising, loved all that. I used to follow my mom and my aunt everywhere that they would go and be called to pray, called to teach, called to whatever they were doing. I would be the kid that would like, babe, bet, let's get it, let's go. And so I went on this experience with them, and as I went to college, I ended up at this Baptist church in Denton and taught the choir, went to UNT, and I knew the presence of God. I was like the youngest kid on the praise and worship team back at home in Dallas. I think I was like 13, 12. Shout out to Anthony Robinson for believing in me, because that was like when praise team was first forming. It was like, okay, it was like 12. I think it was 12 adults, I think, or was it 9? But I was like the youngest of the bunch, and I was like 13. Everybody was older than that. But anywho, in that carried me to college. And when I got to college, I still went to a Baptist church because I thought that's, hey, this is what you do. You know, I grew up Baptist, so I must be Baptist, even though I was speaking in tongues and all that. I just knew the Baptist way. And so from there, it was about maybe the second year I was in Denton, and there was a pastor in Denton who I connected with, and they were non-denominational. And so with that being said, I started to attend their church because it was like very freeing. They invited me over, and I just began to just enjoy that experience. And through that, I ended up being the praise and worship leader. We started with tracks, and I will never forget, I had to have a talk with the pastor because I was like, I don't know if I can do this tracks thing. I don't know if I can do this tracks thing. I'm just like over it. And he released his reins and just let me discover the prophetic, discover how to do music in the way that sets the atmosphere for that particular house. And it was on and popping. From there, we grew. I don't know how many people we grew into, but the music ministry in itself went from just me to having like 2-3 people to 6. And then we had like a whole team of like maybe 8 at one point, 8 or 9 for the praise and worship team. And then maybe had 20 members in the choir. And so from there, and if you're coming in, hey, I'm just sharing, just really just talking, having a conversation around how I got to where I am today. So if you're coming in the room, say, what's up? I want to greet you back. So with all that ministry grew. We were, in my opinion, we were known for like worship and the word and the prophetic. Sometimes we wouldn't even get to the word because of the mood that was happening in the house, right? So in that, let's say dispensation, I don't know what to call it, in that era of my life, right? In the era of my life, I ended up getting married. I ended up establishing a family, ended up having 4 kids in that marriage. And somewhere along the way, in about the 9th or 10th year, maybe the 8th year, I had an experience with a lady who was teaching the Hebraic teachings about God. And from there, I began to really position myself to think differently about Jesus and what I was being taught about Jesus. So from there, me and my wife at the time, what's up, Daryl Flowers? Me and my wife at the time, we started looking at the Hebraic faith, and then we transitioned. So here I am. I was Baptist, then Baptist, Pentecostal, non-denominational, and then here I am getting into this space of Messianic Jew, Hebrew. And so I'm studying Jesus out of the Torah, like learning about the idioms that they didn't teach me in the Baptist church. They didn't teach me that in the Baptist church, right? So here I am learning about the idioms, learning about God and Jesus in a whole different way. Stop doing Christmas, start doing Hanukkah, start celebrating Sabbath, all these things. And one day during this Torah teaching class, this rabbi says that there is no, the hell, let me say it this way, the hell that we were exposed to in the Baptist church was not taught that way. So the condemnation, the fire and brimstone, that's not even a teaching in the Jewish culture. And I sat with that in that class from that day on, because I was like, if Jesus culture, if they didn't teach about hell in this way, like, what is happening? What is this? What is this condemnation? And that sat with me and even really began to expound when I transitioned and life happened by way of divorce. For those that don't know, I got divorced. It's gonna be 4 years now. 4 years now. And when I say that's one of the most transformational experiences you will ever have, I don't wish it on anybody. However, I know now that it was necessary. But in that transition, I really began to sit with the seeds that were planted around Torah, around being Baptist, Pentecostal. And I really began to lean in to realize that they all are the same. hands down, in my experience, all are the same. They're just teaching different facets of how to get to God and what God should look like. And I began to really sit with, like, what does this really mean for me? Because right now, I am divorced. I'm wrestling with my own sexuality. I'm wrestling with being loved by God, period. And the very thing that I used to run to find safety, like when I was married, I used to get up at 5 in the morning sometimes and just lay on my face and cry and do these things, right, to get me to this place. And lo and behold, here I am. And I cannot even tap into the presence of God because I'm so at odds with who God is, what God is, what's happening, because this is not supposed to be my life. This is just not supposed to be my life. And it was 1 week that I had a prayer call with the one and only Reverend Dr. Yala Van Zant. And she was hosting prayer, talking about prayer. And the way she taught it, she kept on saying, you know, by any name you call God. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I don't know what this means, but I feel something in this space. So long story short, that week, the presence of God hit my living room. When I say the presence of God hit my living room in a way that I had not experienced in months, maybe even a year. And I had to sit with, how did I just have this experience in this container of prayer with somebody's teaching, you know, about prayer in a different way, but it resonated so much. And then from there, I went on to enroll in other educational tools to assist me in getting here. And what is here? Like, what is here now is the awareness that I have that God has been given to a lot of people. And if you've been, you know, if you made it to this point or you listen to this story, I talked about this on the podcast the other day too, and y'all forgive me, I'm just putting it all together. I made this commitment, and so we're building, we're growing. So thank you for sticking around, coming in and out of the live, wherever you are. I honor you. So with that being said, that brought me to this point being here of realizing that all this religion, everything that we encountered, is only a foundation. In my opinion, it's a foundation for people to experience God. And I've been really leaning into the awareness that religion is really man's way of trying to understand God. It's man's way of trying to understand God. So this journey that I've been on has really been about being okay with how I know God. Because this is why it's personal. It becomes personal when you don't care about what other people have to say about how you identify with God. Because what I've discovered is that we are all on a journey of self-discovery of our highest, most authentic self. So with that being said, that's what has brought me here to really tap in, to really begin to tap into my call and be in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing here in this earth. And I really feel called to really embark upon this journey called the Inner Chamber. The Inner Chamber is a spiritual community for those that are seeking God. So forgive me, y'all, I had a call come through. So here we are in this inner chamber for those that are questioning what they believe. And so during these next 6 months, I plan on providing just a way to have that conversation. I just ordered my book. It's really a workbook that will allow us to kind of go through questions, look at narratives, perceptions as to what was given to us, and then be able to talk about it in this way. And so right now, today, This replay will be on, I believe, this as an introductory, and I'm working on where to house the replays for the community that's really wanting to go deeper. So that's where we are. So we are getting ready to launch the Inner Chamber. It will be a paid community, for we'll have metaphysical Bible study. We'll be able to have honest conversations around sexuality, around how the Bible was put together, around metaphysics. There's so much. Excuse me, I just had a little sinus flare up coming on, so y'all forgive me if I start sniffling. But there's so much to be discovered about God when you step over into metaphysics and step over into the canonization of the Bible, step over into astrology, step over into all these mystical things that we were told was not of God. So I want to leave you guys with this, and we will pick this up tomorrow. And if you come back and watch this later, I want to invite you to go click on the link in my bio and just be open to receive a complimentary gift from me to you, which is a preview of my book. And you can click on the link in my bio to get access to that. But I want to leave you with this scripture as we are on this journey together. It says, Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. Now, traditionally, growing up in a Baptist church, this idea of renewing your mind would be so tied to a lot of dogma. Like, don't do this, don't do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And what I'm finding, when you look at it metaphysically, this is giving you the power back in your hands on how to navigate your life. Like, this world that we are living in is, if you can digest this, we are in control of how things play out to a certain degree. Let me say it that way. And so with our mindset, right? So with our mindset, we can allow things in, or we can release things out. So based upon how we're thinking about things is how things will come to us. So if we're thinking lack, then we're going to create lack. If we're thinking abundance, we're going to create opportunities for abundance. So this do not conform. We have to, what I'm discovering and leaning in even the more, is that we cannot govern ourselves based on what other people think, or other ideas or opinions of what people think we should be doing. Because the minute I step over into somebody's opinion of what I think I should be doing, then I'm allowing that world, their world, to govern my world. Right? So we should lean in. I'm offering you to lean in. You don't have to. But this is about transforming. So it says, be not conformed by this world. Right? This world, the things that are going on in our humanity, things that people say we shouldn't do. Right? But be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So if you get a thought, if you get something that's pushing you to rethink, that's a cue to transform, to rethink, to reconsider, so that you may discern what is good and pleasing and perfect will of God. Perfect will of God concerning your life. Because what's working for you may not work for somebody else. So this is really an opportunity for you to lean in and say, God, show me what I'm supposed to be doing, so that I can get to the fruit, to the bag, to the discipline, to the transformation. And so I hope that resonates to whoever watches this. So I just wanted to lean in and just come on live to this chamber experience. I hope you guys have the most amazing day. And if you guys are around this week. Make sure you tag me and post. I would love to hear what you thought about this live. If there are conversations that you would like to have, please put it in this live so that we can have a conversation, okay? So I'm gonna leave you with this because this is a song that I normally sing on TikTok, but I'm just gonna put it out there just in case somebody needs to hear this, okay? It goes a little something like this. Just in case you haven't heard it in a while, and just in case you really need to know, just in case you haven't heard it in a while, just in case you really need to know. Oh, I love you back, ayy. I love you, I love you, I love you back, ayy. I love you, I love you, I love you back, ayy. I love you, I love you, I love you back. All right, fam, you have the most amazing day. We'll talk to y'all.